Russia. It has the largest geography in the world in terms of surface area. It is also one of the most populous countries in the world, with a population of 140 per million. The most important cities of the country are the capital Moscow and St. There are also famous popular cities such as Petersburg and Kazan. Since the weather in Russia is generally very cold, I do not recommend you to go in winter because as you move towards Siberia, you face the danger of freezing. Air temperatures may drop to record lows. But it is also true that when you enter a closed area in Russia, people do not sit inside wearing coats since the country is a natural gas giant. Every building you enter is very well heated. That's why people wear thin clothes at home even though they spend the winter outside. Before going into the details of today's Russia, I would like to briefly touch on the history of Russia. The history of Russia begins with the Eastern Slavs, who lived between 300 and 800 BC. It is assumed that the word Rus appeared in this period, and its meaning is rowing men. These Slavic societies, living in clans, emerged as the medieval Kievan Rus state in the 900s, and over time, they accepted Orthodox Christianity. Some legends even claim that they chose Christianity because alcohol was allowed. Although these alcoholic communities, which took the name Rus, tried to grow with the support of the Byzantine state, they were subject to large and small disintegrations as a result of the Mongol invasions from the north. Hundreds of years later, the Russians reunited to form the Principality of Moscow and later the Great Russian Empire. Although the Russian Empire ruled Russia for many years, by 1917, turmoil broke out in the country and the empire collapsed. Soviet Russia, led by leaders such as Lenin and Stalin, ruled Russia until 1991, when it was replaced by the Russian Federation. As we understand from its historical adventures, Russia has a deep-rooted state history, especially after the Cold War. The country rapidly changed its shell and became one of the most populous and luxurious countries of today. If we continue on Moscow, when you go to Moscow today, you can come across many luxury venues and nightclubs. As you know, Russians are extremely fond of entertainment. Belarus is one of the societies that consume the most alcohol in the world, along with countries such as Lithuania and Ireland. In fact, 1 in every 5 male deaths in Russia is caused by excessive alcohol consumption. So much so that on weekends, nightclubs in Moscow are filled to capacity and people drink non-stop. On the other hand, it is accepted that there are 73 billionaires in Moscow, and in this sense, Moscow hosts the richest people in Russia and the world. Many of these billionaires are owners of natural gas companies in the energy sector. The fact that Russia has so many billionaires is not what really makes the country stand out. The country stands out with its beautiful women and Vladimir Putin's political moves. We can say that Putin is the first man of the country, and the state is completely under his control. Almost everything, from the media to the press organs, military, and economic power, is governed by Putin's instructions. Russia has been involved in many events from the past. Although Putin's aggressive and uncompromising policies are not widely accepted by the Russian people, it seems that the Russian people are clearly afraid of Putin and cannot speak out, so you won't see many anti-Putin demonstrations in Russia. Although the country has large natural gas reserves, military expenditures are quite high and the purchasing power of the people is not very good. In fact, Russian citizens are extremely positive about leaving their country to marry a foreigner or find a job. Many people look for jobs in European countries, stating that the job opportunities in the country are not good enough. Moreover, when we look closely, we can say that Russia is not a very productive country other than military technologies. For example, when we look at the brands of the products we use today, we often encounter labels such as German, Italian, American, French, but there are almost no products of Russian origin. They only have giant brands in the energy sector. which is not enough to develop a country. Let's give some examples from life in Russia. You may have heard that Russia is very advanced in terms of intelligence for this reason. The chances of criminals in cases such as illegal document and document forgery in the country are almost non-existent. They are caught in a very short time. For example, be careful not to provide false information even during passport procedures. On the other hand, if the Russian police stop you and try to take money from you, give them what they want. Because some Russian police love to take bribes and they usually look for your weakness by using your passport as an excuse. Therefore, always have your passport with you and do not trust the police, so ensure your own safety there. For example, when you argue with a person of Russian origin and you are taken to the police station, they try to make the foreigner guilty, even if you are right. Moreover, you must have heard how ruthless the Russians are during the debate. Also in Russia, in touristic cities like St. Petersburg, they can empty your pocket even during the day while traveling as a tourist. A large group of people may suddenly surround you and empty your bag. That's why you should always be on your guard. If you are going to Russia for a long time, I strongly recommend that you be honest in the relationships you will establish there. Russian women, in particular, never tolerate lies. And once you fall out of their favor, it will not be easy to win them back. Also, when you communicate with Russian women, do not immediately assume that they like you. Because Russian women are friendly, they are people who tend to smile and speak clearly. But that doesn't mean they like you. Therefore, if you are a man, Russian women there may disappoint you. Also, if you are a tourist in Russia and looking for excitement, never go to the house of people you do not know. Especially men fall into this trap very easily and are often defrauded. Also, Russians do not like to be talked to in the subway. Since there is internet in the subways, people like to hang out alone and do not want to hear noise. I recommend you to be careful at pedestrian crossings. While walking, even if the road is empty, do not cross the street if the pedestrian crossing lights up red. If the traffic police saw this, they would never forgive it and give a fine. There is also a habit of waiting in line in Russia, so no matter how long the grocery or bill lines are, people never get bored of waiting and they never complain. For example, if 20 people are waiting in line at a single checkout in a supermarket, they don't ask for a second register to be opened, and the cashier doesn't bother to move quickly to finish the line. On the other hand, if someone tries to be smart and cut in line, customers will severely criticize that person. In the video, I touched on issues of concern in general. But if you can get a work permit in Russia, it is a place to live. If you make an agreement with a company, that company renews your work permit every year. If you know Russian and have a professional proficiency certificate, you can try your luck by applying to any company related to your business. However, my advice to you is to never go to Russia if you are thinking of working without arranging your job. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.